Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel Journey with Vijay Kumar Srivastav. Today we have a study topic factors affecting crop wheat competition. So let's move ahead. Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel Journey with Vijay Kumar Srivastav. Today we have a study topic factors affecting crop wheat competition. So let's move ahead. There are various factors which can be listed out as period of wheat growth, intensity of weeds, weed species, soil fertility, soil moisture status, soil reaction, climatic conditions, and crop species and varieties, which are the factors determine the crop wheat competition. The first factor is period of wheat growth. It is important to note that when the crop wheat competition is critical, when the weed must be removed, and when they may be allowed to grow without fear of any appreciable crop damage. Weeds that germinate and grow at the same time as the crop seeds are most successful competitors. If weeds are controlled at early period of crop growth, optimum crop yield could be harvested, which may be quite close to the maximum yield. The critical weed-free period may, however, vary somewhat with the crop situation. Weeds should be removed at an early stage or at younger stages, otherwise they compete severely. A little delay in weeding results in infestation of the crop for major parts of their critical growth periods. In situations where weeds germinate late stage weeding is more useful than early weeding. The same is also true for crops like grams and peas that are irrigated for considerable period after planting. There is less competition when weeds are either removed early or they germinate slowly because crop plants become sturdy and can tolerate competition. On the other hand, when the weeds germinate along with the crop plants are usually smothered by the weeds completely. As example, direct sown rice suffers severely competition from the weeds compared to the transplanted crop of rice. Second factor affecting crop wheat competition is intensity of weeds. In general, increase in the weed intensity results in reduction of the crop growth and yield of crops. There has to be some minimum amount of weed growth in terms of either population or yield in the fields to exert a minimum biological stress on the crop performance. To maintain zero weed growth is too costly and generally cannot be achieved. Weed species are another factors affecting crop wheat competition. Different weeds differ in their ability to compete with the crop at similar density levels. This is primarily because of difference in their growth habits as well as due to allelopathic effects which they may exert on the germination and growth for the crops. Next factor is soil fertility. Since weeds compete with crops for mineral nutrients, particularly nitrogen, addition of fertilizers, manures and other amendments will lessen weed stress on crop. Methods and time of application of fertilizer to the crop fields are important in determining whether the added fertilizer will suppress or increase weed growth in fields. Band application of fertilizer will also decide the weed growth. Application of fertilizer early in the crop season when weed growth is negligible is more beneficial to the crop than when weeds are already grown up. Weeds can grossly alter the fertilizer response curves of the crops. Band application of fertilizers is a method of applying fertilizer in bands near where developing plant roots can easily reach it, and the fertilizer is placed either to the side and below the seed rows or slightly below the seeds or in between rows. And band application is also known as a starter application and it controls the weed growth effectively. Another factor affecting crop wheat competition is soil moisture status. Water supplied to weedy crop fields either through irrigation or through rainfall is equally accessible to both the crop and weeds. Irrigation is expected to increase the yields of both the crops and wheat if the fields are initially under stress. Increase in yield of the crops, weedy or weed free, by rains or irrigation water have been found to differ with the crop and weed species and weed growth, etc. Higher water use efficiency of the crops has been noted in free plots than in weedy plots because of higher level of crop yield in the weed free plots. Rain or first irrigation after planting the crops is an important factor determining the intensity of crop weed competition. If a crop is irrigated when the plants are 15 cm tall, it can compete with wheat that germinated with first irrigation or rain. Whereas when fields are irrigated immediately after planting of crops, it induces early flush of weeds, which is highly detrimental to the crop growth. In waterlogged soils, many weeds survive much better than the most crop plants and compete severely with crop. Next factor is soil reaction. Some of the weed species tolerate abnormal soil reactions much better than others. Some weeds grow vigorously on abnormal pH soil where majority of crops plants will stunted in growth. Weed crop competition is more intense on high or low pH soil than on normal pH soils. Addition of soil amendments to raise or lower the pH levels in soil therefore improve crop growth and tilting the balance of weed crop competition in favor of the crops. Climate is one of the important factors which affects crop weed competition. Climate and seasonal variations are greatly responsible for inducing wide differences in weed crop competitions. Adverse weather conditions such as drought, excessive rains, continuous rain, extreme of temperature, etc. intensify the weed crop interference since most of our crop varieties are highly susceptible to such climatic influence, whereas the weeds are tolerant to these stresses. Weeds germinate at different times at different places, and weed emergence in the fields is more rapid in soils kept continuously wet by rainfall than those that dried 3 days after planting. Differences in germination of weeds are narrowed as the temperature increases since the weed seeds absorb enough moisture in the first 3 days of wet period itself before the soil dries up. Another factor is cropping practices. Cropping practices influencing crop weed competition includes date and methods of crop planting, crop density and rectangularity, and crop species and varieties, and we will discuss in details about each component. First one is date and method of planting crops. Longer the period or interval between the emergence of crops and weeds, larger will be weed crop interference. Weed seeds germinate mostly rapidly from top 1.25 cm of soil or up to 2.5 cm depth. Only few weed seeds such as barnyard grass and cockleber may germinate even from 10 cm depth of soils. Therefore, a planting method that dries the top 3 to 5 cm of soil rapidly is enough to deny weed seeds the opportunity to absorb moisture for their germination, which usually postpones weed emergence until first irrigation is given. By this time, the crop plants are well established to compete with the late maturing weeds. In other cases, when the planting methods which leaves the top most soil wet, weed seeds absorb enough moisture to germinate, which induces severe weed crop competition. Crop density and rectangularity is also impacting the crop weed competition. In low plant population, resulting from low seed rate, faulty germination, or loss of crop seedlings. Weed growth is dense and weed crop competition intense. Wide row spacing may also induce dense weed growth, and it can weaken the crop plants and intensify weed crop interference further. A square planting should be ideal in reducing the intra-plant competition in crops. Competition among individuals of same species of plant is comparatively weaker than competition among individuals of different species. Crop species and varieties are also playing important role in crop weed competition. Crops and varieties differ in their habitat, often to weeds to grow as well as in their ability to withstand weeds competition. Such differences among crop species may result from either their inherent morphological and physiological features or from differences in their cultivation requirements. Barley is found more tolerant to interfere by weeds than wheat, and wheat is more tolerant than oats. Linseed is more sensitive to the presence of weeds than to other winter grains. High tolerance of barley to crop weed competition may be due to development of extensive seminal and crown roots during its first 3 weeks after planting. Fast canopy forming and tall crops suffer less from weed competition than slow growing or short stature crop. Dwarf varieties of crops are more susceptible to weed crop competition than the tall because initially they grow slowly. Now this is the end of chapter factors affecting crop weed competition. See you again shortly. Thank you.